So I would like to welcome our guests and partners, Mr. Doron Gidoni, Innovation Attaché, Embassy of Israel. Ms. Shani Estiuni, Head of Public Diplomacy, Embassy of Israel. Mr. Dipinder Dhillon, Joint Director, Invest Punjab. Mr. Ajay Srivastav, Director and Center Head, STPI Mohali. Our speakers, Mr. Gurkirat Singh, IAS Secretary, Tourism and Culture. Mr. Sukhmeet Singh, Founder and CEO, A2P Energy. And I would like to thank our venue partner, Mr. Harshit, Isha and team. And our Mr. Satyendra Singh, CEO, iRise Incubator, ISA Mohali. And Mr. Piyush Garg, Vice President, Seed Chatkara. So I am Bandhan Goyal, Program Manager at TiE Chandigarh and your MC for the day. Thanks for joining in. I hope you all build good deep insights and networks by the end of today's session. So before we begin, I would again like to thank our partner, the Embassy of Israel to India, our co-sponsors Invest Punjab, Startup Punjab and the Government of Punjab, our venue partners, Atal Incubation Center, ISB Mohali and STPI Mohali, and our outreach partners, iRise and ISA Mohali and Seed Chatkara University. Thank you for all the support. So with that, let's formally start with the bootcamp of this Israel TiE Chandigarh Business Plan Competition. Our first speaker has done his LLB from Punjab University, followed by an MBA from Boston University. He has been the director of the Millennial School Mohali for 9 years, after which he joined Learning Path School Mohali, where he has been serving as the director for the past 7 years. So with a huge round of applause, please welcome President TiE Chandigarh, Mr. Robin Agarwal.
Thank you all for coming here. TiE Chandigarh and TiE's aim is to foster entrepreneurship, and we do that through collaboration with various partners. Like this event involves so many people, right? We've got the Punjab government, we've got Embassy of Israel, we've got ISB, we've got SEED, we've got STPI, and we've got you all. You're the most important people of this all, right? So it's an endeavor for TiE Chandigarh to bring the startups of this area, of this region, in the areas of sustainability together, right? And sustainability is such a topic today that sustainability and business go hand in hand. Sustainability is the business, in fact, today of the future, right? And this is a small endeavor from TiE Chandigarh to highlight this area that sustainability and entrepreneurship will go hand in hand. We hope through this competition, a couple of good ideas, a couple of startups come forward, and like the Embassy of Israel has an exciting journey for all of us. Whether we reach 1, 2, 3 doesn't matter. The entire journey of this entire next 2-3 months is the main experience that we want you to experience, right? And thank you all for being here with us today. Thanks.
Thanks, Robin, for the warm welcome. Our next speaker has done his Masters in Biotechnology from IIT Madras, after which he moved to Patents and Intellectual Property. He founded PatView in 2016, an award-winning business intelligence dashboard for patent landscapes, and he has been running his company Significant for the past decade. Please welcome Vice President TiE Chandigarh, Mr. Harit Mohan.
Very good morning, all of you. Thank you for being here today. And I think it's wonderful to have Doron and Shani as well with us. I think it's a small endeavor from our side to have all of you here and make this as productive as we can today. So that's our commitment to all of you. And I'll just tell we're so excited. I mean, our initial threshold was we're talking to Doron and everybody that we wanted that a lot of agri-tech startups should come up from India. And you'll be surprised that we're about to have about 75 plus registrations in a very short span. So congratulations to all of you on ecosystem. Doing fantastically well when it came to the program, and thanks a lot to all our outreach partners for making that possible actually today. And I'll just read some stats because I think the formal welcome has been done. So you'll be surprised that Punjab and Maharashtra remains two of the main states that we got a lot of registrations from, about 11 each. Then the program did reach to far states like Tamil Nadu and Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Chhattisgarh, Assam. So the program actually rooted very well and spread very well. And in the terms of stats, we got about 18 companies that were from agri-tech alone. then we got about 8 from energy, about 7 from water, 12 from sustainability. So there's a good data, that we've gathered from this event, and I think it's an appeal to all the founders and co-founders or people who want to set up companies that this is the time where this is a very focused group. You should network, make most of the events. There's a small request to all the startups there, and I wish I got such an opportunity when I started off 10 years ago. But I think all of them are very helpful, very pleasing. So do make most of the event. Without further ado, I will probably hand back to Bandhan, and good luck for the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harit. I would now like to welcome our partners from Israel. Our next speaker has done her LLB from the College of Management Academic Studies, the largest college in Israel. After which she continued her journey in law, finally moving to the industry of foreign affairs of Israel, where she now serves as the head of public diplomacy, Embassy of Israel in India. Please give a big round of applause to Ms. Shani Etzioni.
Thank you. Good morning. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming, and of course to TiE Chandigarh for partnering with us, and for ISB for hosting us. This year we are celebrating 30 years of diplomatic relationship with the government of India. Well, you really can't hear it, right? It's hard for me, sorry, to hold it. This year we are celebrating 30 years of diplomatic relations between India and Israel, and we're having a lot of projects. Some are in innovation, some are in culture, some are with helping some people with difficult social backgrounds, women empowerment, gender equality. The important thing that I wanted to say today about Israel, to tell you a little bit, is Israel is very small. The population is very small. I mean, I think Delhi itself probably has much more people and much more, wow, I forgot the word, land. Thank you. But because Israel didn't have the right environment, didn't have any resources, didn't have any way to land or to water. It made, from everything we didn't have, we had to create. We had to be resourceful, we had to find, and thankfully, there were so many people that found a way to be innovative from everything we didn't have. And the most important thing I think we are taught at the cadet course and as a starting diplomat is that we want to share. We want to share the knowledge, we want to share the expertise, we want to collaborate, and we want to give some of what we have, some of what we've learned. Obviously in the process we learn a lot too. I mean, it's not like we know everything. No one knows everything. This is a process, and we're happy to collaborate, we're happy to give from what we have and to learn and to make the world, hopefully, I'm sorry, I'm a true believer, I'm a true optimist, to make the world a better place. So thank you all for having us, and I hope to see you at the finals.
Thank you so much, Shani, and we are grateful to have you here. So, our next speaker and partner from Israel has done his education from Tel Aviv University, followed by a diverse set of experiences in real estate appraisal, tutoring, aviation, and then joining Atrim Tel Aviv Jaffa Coastline Development Company Limited as Old Jaffa Historic District Manager, where he served for nearly 2 decades. Finally joining the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Israel as Innovation Attaché. So with a huge round of applause, please welcome Mr. Doron Gidoni.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for having us. I prepared something in writing, so in recent years, finding a solution to environmental challenges has become a mission not only among decision makers, but also among entrepreneurs and innovators around the world. The State of Israel is considered one of the world leaders in the field of sustainable innovation. Dozens of Israeli companies and startups have been established in recent years in the aim of finding climate solutions that will help limit global warming. As the leading country in the field of innovation, we take sustainability seriously and take upon ourselves the responsibility to lead and set a personal example. Today, more than ever, it is important for us to preserve the environment. We promise that the changes we are leading will address the industry and have a positive impact on the planet. Our hope is that other entrepreneurs and innovators in India and around the globe will join us. Thank you very much and good luck for everyone.
Thank you, Doron. Thank you so much. So next we have our first keynote address for the day. So on the topic from farm to fork, decoding successful startups. Our speaker has done his bachelor's in electronics and communication, after which he went for Indian Administrative Services, securing an All India rank of 3. He has served a number of positions across different departments and cities across Punjab, like civil aviation, food, civil supplies and consumer affairs, etc. With the recent posting as Secretary, Tourism and Culture. Please welcome Mr. Gurkirat Singh with a huge round of applause.
Good morning, everybody. The delegates from Israel, my fellow speakers, and everyone from TiE, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. The topic which I'm going to try and speak about, probably a lot of people would already be aware about a lot of things. See, startups generally have a few characteristics in common when it comes to incubation, when it comes to sustainability. But then there are certain challenges which come when the agriculture sector creeps into the entire system, simply because this is one area where the majority of the Indian population is engaged in. It's an area which is pretty sensitive because not only from the economic point of view, but even from the political point of view. So therefore, when we do business related to farming, there would be certain challenges, there would be certain issues. I'll try to speak about those based on what we have seen. Of course, we know farm to fork, some countries we call it farm to table, and other places it's called farm to plate. In India, basically, we talk about farm to fork in terms of aggregation and providing better incomes to farmers through direct sales. In other countries, it's more about organic farming, it's more about getting good quality food directly sourced from the farmers. But at the end of the day, it's a network, it's a farming community which is involved, and there are entrepreneurs who are carrying out the job. There are, of course, costly cycles. We purchase seeds, fertilizers, these are all inputs for agriculture. Definitely have a major impact on farm incomes. Farmers are very poor at marketing their goods. I think world over, there are very few farmers who have the wherewithal and the networking to directly sell their produce. Generally, either they go through aggregators or through middlemen or through government set-up system as we have in India, where they sell their produce. The inability to diversify, agriculture is a very risky proposition. Why risky? Because it is subject to vagaries of nature, it is subject to fluctuation of prices. The farm sector is something where no one can predict the final price 3 months or 4 months hence, and therefore the farmer is always a worried person until the time he is able to sell his produce. The indebtedness is something which is a real cause of worry. If you go through the NSO survey data for 2021, which is the last available data we have, the average indebtedness across the country is about 74,000 rupees per farmer, and the average income per farmer is about 10,000 rupees a month. So if you look at it, more than 60% of his annual income is debt, and he has to repay the debt with the remaining amount. So therefore, it's a vicious cycle he's got into. He's taking more debt to repay the earlier debt, and that is how the cycle continues. If you look at Punjab, we are in terms of indebtedness as per the survey, third highest in the country after Andhra Pradesh and Kerala. The average debt in Punjab is 2 lakh rupees per farmer. It's completely unsustainable as of date. So, real cause of worry, and therefore the need to have such startups to boost the farm incomes. Taxation barriers are again a major issue. Say, for example, a lot of industry keeps complaining that Punjab has high taxation issues when it comes to agriculture sale. Not this is again a challenge when it comes to selling organic food, or you're selling a certain particular type of foods. Getting a certification is a big hassle. And then unless government agencies come forward, assist the farmers, it's very difficult for them to do it on their own. Economies of scale and land laws, of course. Land laws limit the economies of scale. You can, because of land ceiling laws, you cannot have land beyond a certain exceptions for industry, but for a farmer, talk about farm to fork, then for a farmer it's not possible. The last was of course the convenience. Before I go further, I think it's nice to see some success stories which have happened. I think those are better learning experiences as to how these startups came about. I have not limited this part to startups. I've added a couple of corporates also, because I think it's important to understand a startup would be competing with the big corporates in this issue. So whether it can sustain itself as well as the bigger corporates or not, available on Amazon, it is available in most of your good stores. APRO started as a very small unit, a few farmers got together. These people do not have any person with MBA qualifications or advanced knowledge about corporates or anything within their organization. It's just the farmers getting together, developing their entrepreneurial skills, starting with the local area and finally moving on to a bigger scale. The initial support was of course given by the state government. They helped them with a capital of 76 lakhs. 11 lakh was contributed by the farmers, and turmeric powder, honey, jam, flour, pulses, soya beans, so and so. These are some of the products which they are doing right now, starting from turmeric. Today, there are hundreds of farmers. They started with less than 20, and today they have hundreds who have joined them. Turmeric is a major produce in Hoshiarpur district today, and they are doing very well. They even have a LinkedIn profile with them. And remember, they are not IT savvy. If we go to an entirely different continent altogether, then the European Union funded a very interesting project called the Skill Project. This project was spread across various countries. They spent close to about $1.9 million on it, which is a huge amount. A lot of people criticize whether it was actually worth it or not. 15 European countries, they developed a network of 3,200 experts. Basically all they did was they collected success stories. They reached out to all these countries, started checking out what is good here, what was this last mile connectivity which was missing in that particular project, and they collected all this information together and finally made it a good repository of knowledge. Whether it has been used, whether it has yielded the desired results, there are critics who are for it, against it, but the reason I put this here is, it's not a startup, okay? I'm just telling you what countries are doing. The reason I put it here is that this was a continent which realized that there are barriers for the farmer. They realized that there are supply chains and there is a need to shorten these supply chains. So a farmer, when he had to sell his produce, he sometimes had to go through 5 or 6 different levels before he could reach the final consumer. Those could be a place, a grain market, followed by a wholesaler, followed by a retailer, followed by maybe a door-to-door supplier. So there were 5 or 6 channels in between, which and the farmer had to jump over all those 5 channels So this entire exercise was only and only concentrated towards shortening the supply chains. And this study has actually brought about some very good feedback for the farmers, especially in Europe, on how they can do it. Many farmers have adopted it also. Time will tell whether those techniques, it's a recent phenomenon. Time will tell whether these were actually successful. But what is interesting here is that they concentrated only on cutting down the barriers between the farmer and the consumer. They also worked a lot on bringing about changes in the regulatory frameworks. In many countries, they found that there were laws which prohibited the farmers from engaging directly with consumers. So they even worked on changing the laws in those countries. So this is where a government comes in. This is where a body, a multi-nation body comes in to bring about change. Greener Grains is again a very successful startup. A startup which went through a complete sine wave sort of a trajectory when it came to its success. It started in Madhya Pradesh. There was a banker couple. They were doing pretty well in Kota Mahindra Bank. One fine day, they decided that they had to go back to their roots, to the village, and basically Pratik Sharma, the gentleman here, he started farming. His wife continued to work in the bank so that they had an income. He started getting the farmers together. He realized that a single farmer could not operate, so he needed to get the other farmers of the area together. What was the motivation for them? When they had a small daughter, they realized that good quality food was not available. Food was laced with insecticides, pesticides, a lot of other contaminants. And there was an urgent desire that we need good quality food. And that was the sole desire which moved them towards the farm to fork startup. In 2015, we collaborated with the farmer producer organization, started getting farmers together. We got about 12 individual farmers, started a small startup, got noticed. The incubation center at IIM Calcutta picked him up, gave him funding. They tried their best. By 2020, they were practically back. It just did not work. But at the same time, he made sure that the farmers never lost out. He was paying out of his own pocket to make sure that the farmers kept getting their produce, even if he was not able to sell it for them. It could not be sustained for long. By 2020, as I said, they had practically no money by February. And in March, COVID happened. And suddenly there was a shutdown and everybody started ordering food. And they found a huge opportunity in that. And suddenly created a marketing network where they would get the orders, have the food delivered to every place. And today, this is a very, very successful project. So, a natural occurrence happened. It just happened. They were almost gone. They had decided to move back to banking. It was a tough startup to start with, a tough area to start with. But today, they are doing business in 6 states. About 2,000 families are engaged with them, doing very well. Home Greens. This is again a very interesting startup which was started in Kashmir. The lady Insha Rasool, she was pursuing a PhD in molecular signaling in South Korea. When she felt that agriculture was calling her again, there was some desire which came into her. She said, I need to go back to my state. And she told the university over there that in case I am not successful, I'll come back and complete her PhD. She told this. She came back to Gurgaon in J&K in 2018. Now, her challenge was that she wanted to go for some exotic variety because farm to fork doesn't work with cereals. It's farm to fork has to have something innovative in it. Cereals are just picked up by the government all the time. FCI keeps picking up on the wheat and rice from all over the country. So you don't need any sort of real out-of-the-box thinking for these particular crops. But for vegetables, fruits, etc., it's a very important activity. So she chose exotic veggies. She started accumulating seeds from seed banks. So this again is something which she was able to access. A lot of farmers are not able to access seeds. Good seeds, good quality seeds, exotic seeds. She was someone who had international exposure. She was someone who could develop contacts. And from international seed banks, she got the seeds. Then, of course, propagated them at her level. She started her own innovative ways of tackling weed infestation. For insect invasion, she even used a fermented mixture of neem oil and other things which have Ayurvedic sort of issues. Today she is selling on Instagram, she is selling her products on Facebook, she is doing very well. It was a calling which happened. She is very happy. She hasn't gone back to South Korea, but PhD is gone. Geokrishi, now here comes the conflict. Reliance comes into the picture, and Reliance has now decided to launch Geokrishi, where Reliance Industries and Reliance Geo platforms are going to partner with Facebook. We all read about Reliance acting into partnership with Facebook for a lot of things, but this is one area where they are going to do it. And it will offer a farm-to-fork supply chain and data analytics, because the farmer will get to know which crops are good, what is the weather forecast for the particular area, what are sort of inputs you require for better crop production. They will be providing all those things. They even check the soil quality, which is very, very important as far as farming is concerned. It's going to focus on a 12-hour delivery cycle. This is the target. From the time it is harvested to the time it reaches the consumer, there will be only a 12-hour gap, and this is supposed to be the USP. Now, whether a startup can compete with GeoFresh once it comes into the picture, again, these are issues. Startups have to see how they can work around these big corporates, how they can deliver something which is better, something which is more appealable to the consumer, something which is fresher than a 12-hour crop. In vegetables, fruits, it's all about freshness. We have some other success stories. Farmers Fresh Zone, Grow Farm, Bihar, Ninja Garden Republic, Google these, check out. But yes, some good names where farm-to-fork success stories have happened. So what was it that made these startups successful, and what was it that made some others struggle? First is the drive. Farming can be a very, very routine process, but a very critical process. It's a livelihood for any individual. A farmer may or may not have the drive or the entrepreneurial urge to go beyond a certain income. A typical example of this is the minimum support price which is given by the government. When you give a minimum support price for wheat or for paddy, you are eliminating the risk of a farm. Of course, the weather risk will always be there. You can have a drop in your production. But as far as cost fluctuation is concerned, you completely eliminate that risk. Now, a farmer takes a calculated choice whether he would like to go for a risk or go for a zero risk sale, zero risk sale of produce, which may give him a slightly lower income, but an assured income. He can project his incomes very well. And if you look at the way farmers are working in northern part of Punjab, they are actually following the safer path. They are not going in for risk-taking capacities. The point is, if you have a debt of 2 lakh on your head, how much risk can you take? Again, it's a very, very difficult situation you are in. So therefore, most of the farmers are actually preferring the assured route, and therefore, how many farmers will be able to diversify, how many farmers will be able to move towards vegetables, towards fruits, and go away from the wheat rice cycle. That is a big challenge. The seed money. Startups are not cheap. They are labor intensive. They are capital intensive. both the things. You require vehicles, you require transport facilities, you require transporters, you require people who can actually package it, you require packaging machines, proper area. Any consumer who's going to look at your vegetable and fruit is going to see the quality of it. Does it look nice? So if it's not nice, it's not packaged, it's not even polished. Sometimes we will polish the fruits. If it's not polished, then you won't be able to sell it. All that is capital expensive. You require money for it, see money. Managerial skills. I gave you the example of Fapro where they had not acquired any managerial skills, but obviously they were very good managers in their own right. They set up a system which is today technology driven. It is selling a lot. It is offering very high prices to the farmers. The people are purchasing it at a premium, but it took time. They had their own managerial skills. They had this connect with the consumer which was beyond all the books which we all study, and they did pretty well. But that is not always the case. In most of the cases, you will find that the startups are not farmers by themselves. They are actually intermediaries. So they aggregate farmers, they get the people together, and then they basically do the marketing of the produce. So there you do require certain skills. Investment in capital, already mentioned. Research and guidance on crops and latest farm products. If you are going to tie up with farmers, tell them that you go away from the traditional crops, come into a new arena altogether. You will really need to make sure that they earn money. The farmer will quickly switch back in a single season. He will not wait for a second season. In a single season, he will switch back to his earlier crop if he doesn't get a high income. And for that, there has to be a lot of research on the quality of seeds, on the quality of fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, which are to be put into the soil, which are to which should boost the production and make sure that the farmer gets it. Diversification of crops, already mentioned. You need to move out of the traditional crops. Marketing linkage is of course critical. Reaching out to the consumer, directly to the consumer without any retail shop, without any outlet is something which is a big challenge. You might have seen nowadays milk is being sold directly to households in those specially designed cooled vehicles, those vans. They're doing very well. They're selling their milk at a premium. It's much more expensive than milk of Veka or Milkmaid or others. But yes, it's selling because of the quality. IT upgrade. So with every person today doing practically everything on the mobile, right from banking to purchases to paying fees, anything. So therefore, it is very important that they upgrade their IT skills, come onto IT platforms. They are able to connect with the people and sell. Big corporates versus farmer groups, I've already mentioned this point, that the corporates are today planning to overtake this entire arena, especially with food shortage across the world after the Russian-Ukraine crisis. There is a huge potential which people are seeing in trading of cereals, in trading of food items across the globe. They are expecting a spike in prices, and therefore you will find more corporates coming into this arena who can really get into the business of farmer groups simply because they may be able to offer higher prices. And these high prices are for a short-term gain, right? So they're probably looking at a 2-year gain, after which the prices will stabilize, providing the conflict ends in time. But farmer groups are here to stay for a long time. So this 2-year break also can be completely killing for them. Thank you. So I'll just close by saying that we do have a lot of very good persons in Punjab has been an agrarian economy from the start, right? We have a lot of very entrepreneurial people who are not only looking at crops, they're selling honey, they're selling milk, piggery is coming up in a big way. So all these allied farming activities are also a part of the farm to fork network. People are doing well, they are trying their best, but frankly speaking, farming is passing through a very, very tough phase. As an example, I'll just share the data. Say a normal farmer would earn about 60 to 65,000 from an acre of land if he were to sell, say, wheat. If another farmer who is quite good, who knows his job well, is say growing any exotic vegetable, they have the potential of earning 1 lakh rupees per canal of land, which comes to about 8 lakh rupees an acre. Now, on one side you have 8 lakh rupees an acre of income, on one side you have 70,000 rupees. Why is the farmer still preferring the 70,000 rupees? He is not moving towards 8 lakhs. There is a serious disconnect between what the farmer wishes and what he is doing. And it entirely stems from his risk-taking ability. Today the farmer is just not able to take a risk. He has to repay his debt every 6 months, for which he needs an assured income. We are actually killing a huge agrarian economy, which could have gone to a different level. So probably something to do with, it's a different topic in today, but severely impacts your startup. So thank you very much.
We have a couple of minutes for questions if anyone wants to ask anything.
Thank you, sir. First of all, it's a really nice presentation. Few points, sir, like the one point which you mentioned in decoding the successful startup was big corporates versus farmer groups. And you also gave an example of Geo Krishi, which is built by giant corporate. So, what are the steps that currently are there for the farmers or the government is taking in order to provide those facilities to the lower group of farmers to compete with these corporates who are into the same market and acquiring the same target audience? What can be done in this aspect?
Okay, so the government always encourages formation of societies. Societies are regularly formed by the farmers. A society can be formed for any purpose. We do have societies which are being formed for this purpose, and government is now giving them subsidy by way of agricultural implements. So the cost of harvesting the crop goes down when it comes to availing of these subsidies. A lot of farmers are going in for drip irrigation where you are getting a lot of subsidy. Government is giving subsidy for polyhouses. Government is giving subsidy for greenhouses. All these are aimed at shifting the farmer from the traditional cropping cycle towards something more exotic, something more specific where the incomes are high. But our agriculture, the problem in the state is, if you look at the weather, our weather conditions are so severe, right from extreme heat to extreme cold. You would find most of the polyhouses where investments in lakhs happen, they get just blown away in about a couple of years. So polyhouses have practically failed in Punjab until and unless there are very, very expensive measures taken to protect it. As far as corporates are concerned, see, where does the threat come from? The threat comes from the fact that today the corporate may offer very attractive incentives to a farmer, and the farmers may break away from their own groups, join the corporate, again getting an assured income, and finally become dependent on it. Right? The dependency is where the problem starts. And once the dependency arises, in any particular year where the corporate feels that it does not require the crop, because it may have surplus crop line, because there may be a huge drop in demand, or maybe the international prices would be lower and it's cheaper to just import that particular thing. You may just tell the farmer, I'm not going to buy it from you. And then where does the farmer go? The government is not going to buy those crops. The government will buy wheat and but it will not buy vegetables, it will not buy fruits. So herein lies the risk factor. This risk factor obviously government cannot eliminate. But we do have certain organizations within the state like Punjab Agro, Market, when it came to a huge drop in potato prices, onion prices, a drop in potato, a rise in onion. These agencies intervened. They started exporting potatoes from Punjab to Russia and other places. That again stabilized the prices because government was purchasing at a particular rate. So government does come in various by way of subsidies or by way of direct intervention. Government does keep coming in. But let me tell you, it's a farmer's choice whether he goes towards a corporate or farms his own growth. I hope I can answer.
Thank you so much.
Any last question?
Just extension to this question I have. As you said, these polyhouses getting grown because of the rain. Is that 100% true? What I also read or heard from people are just going to avail the subsidy, making it the license, they will operate for 1 year, and they are just not interested to carry on project. They have taken the subsidy and gone away. That's what I heard.
See, the point is, there have been certain instances.
Yeah.
The problem has been more where you have agriculture implements, not in case of polyhouses. So agriculture implements, yes, there has been a leakage of subsidies. And let me tell you, it doesn't happen at the Punjab alone. It's a national phenomenon. These leakages do happen whenever you have targeted subsidies. If you have universal subsidies, the problem is never there. But in targeted subsidies, you will always have leakages. In case of polyhouses, why would a person set it up in the first place? He would just pocket the money, right? He would not set it up. But if you go, if you try to travel all along this Ropur area or towards Nawashahar, towards Zahir, you will actually find a lot of blown away polyhouses on the way. The entire sheet has got ripped. They are not functional anymore. Many people have dismantled them now. There was a time when this entire belt was full of polyhouses. There were a large number of them which had been set up. So where did they go all of them?
Feasibility analysis was not done properly, whether that is suitable for this kind of environment over here. Without understanding that, people
And
just
sometimes they saved on the money and purchased a fabric which was less strong. The farmer will try to cut costs. He never realized what the danger was.
Very good question.
My query is like there is a certain knowledge gap. The farmers are not ready to change their crop pattern. So how does the idea? So there has been the recent cause that mobilizing agriculture cooperatives against the corporations. So as a part of cooperatives, the farmers are clubbing together, and over there it's a very good platform to upskill themselves and get into a stage. It may be entrepreneurial where they are producing a unique variety of crops and pitching that production against the corporations. So can't be something be done in that particular line and where we are as a government here.
I'll just pose a quick question. How many of the people here buy vegetables or fruits from farmer organizations? In this room? 1, 2. So if you conduct a quick sample survey of this room, we have only 2 people out of the entire population here which has access to a farmer producer organization. What you are talking about, these cooperatives are farmer producer organizations. Same thing, interchangeable words. See, when it comes to corporates, a big basket or Reliance Fresh is going to completely flood your mind with its images to its marketing budget. It's going to come all over TV, it's going to come, every app you use, that ad is going to pop up, every website you open, their ads are going to pop up. They have a huge marketing budget, they completely eliminate the thoughts of farmer producer organization from your mind. And a person will simply say, okay fine, this is a new place, let me try it out. Download the app and start using it. The producer organizations are a very good thing to have. All the examples I gave over here were producer organizations. They are existing. They are sustaining themselves. But I mentioned one of these organizations here, which after a long struggle today has about a collection of 2,000 farmers attached. So it would be catering to population of say about 1 lakh, maybe even less than 1 lakh is also very, very high. corporates. The corporates they don't even need to run around. They have people running around seeking their franchises and setting up shops for them. So therefore, for a small organization to match them is very difficult. So the farmer producer organization, their entire clientele is the people who are today aware about healthy food. They are the ones who are going to try and approach them. They are the ones who are going to move away from Reliance Fresh. The common man is not going to go and buy from them unless he's a local person. So as time passes, as awareness is generated, you will find the producer organizations coming up, the corporate share going down. But corporates will always win. They will always win. You cannot eliminate it. As long as a farmer is able to sell his produce to a corporate at good price, that is fine. See, the entire logic behind this entire exercise of having a startup farm to fork is, what is it? It is boosting farmer incomes. In 2007, Reliance wanted to come to Punjab in a very big way with farm to fork operations. They said we'll set up stores all across Punjab. We set up our own mandis, we buy everything in Punjab, every single thing we buy in Punjab. There were certain hurdles which they faced, unfortunately, because of which the government changed and they felt that the political climate was not conducive, they went away. But the corporates will be aggressive, the farmer producer organization will still survive.
Thank you so much, Gurjeet, for the key insights, and I'm sure Tata should have learned a lot from this. So before moving on, I would again like to thank our partners, the Embassy of Israel to India, our co-sponsors Invest Punjab, Startup Punjab and Government of Punjab, our venue partners AIC ISB Mohali and SCPI Mohali, and our outreach partners iRise at ISM Mohali and Seed Chitkara University. Thank you. So moving on to our next keynote talk. So on growing for sustainability and impact on ecosystem. Our next speaker has worked with leading Fortune 500 companies and has significant international experience working in US, UK and Dubai. He has also worked at ISB as the Associate Director and has won many national and international awards for his work on saving paddy straw from burning. He is the CEO and founder of bioenergy company A2P Energy that is setting up bioenergy plants in Punjab for converting paddy straw into energy products. With a huge round of applause, please welcome Mr. Sukhmeet Singh.